Welcome to the A Beautiful Life podcast. I'm Krista,
I'm Ronnie.
and today we would like to welcome Monika Marczuk, a professional holistic practitioner. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're really glad you're here because we got to talk because the world, the world is like it's on fire right now, right?
Right.
People are stressed, a lot of anxiety. A lot of people don't know up from down. Like we're really in this place, right? We've come out of a really hard time, like through the whole pandemic. Some are sort of finding their way, and others are struggling a little bit more. What is your take right now on the way the world is overall? Like, how do you find that there's a higher or heightened anxiety right now? Do you find people adapting really well after what we've been through and going through?
No, I don't think people are adapting at all. And if they are adapting, I think they've come up with coping mechanisms to get themselves through the day.
Mhm.
So there's, is a difference between I'm coping with something and taking practical action to support and help myself, and coping with something which means actually to hide.
Mhm.
So I'm noticing a lot of coping mechanisms. And
Right.
one of them, actually, which is I find the most detrimental,
Mhm.
is people use positive thinking to
Right.
negate what's actually happening.
That's true.
So let's say they're having a really rough time, or they're feeling stressed, and instead of sitting with the feeling that they're having, they go and they use positive thinking to beat themselves up. Oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way. If I thought positively, if only, I was better, if only, oh, I'll
It's
just use mantras over and over again. And then
Yeah,
they're
isn't that
kind of,
funny that you're saying that? Like that is quite the statement because we are really coming in from a time, especially going back, like, I don't know, 10 years, 5 years ago, when you would have sort of all these movies coming out
right.
talking about that all the time. Are we helping ourselves or in some ways actually hindering ourselves by not meeting the problem head on?
I mean, it's about getting clear about what you want and the space from which you're coming from. The space from which you come from is everything. So
Right.
let's say you're trying to manifest more money or love or a relationship,
Mhm.
but the space from which you're coming from is lack or fear, or I feel unsupported, or life doesn't support me. Even though you're saying, I want this,
Mhm.
that energy and that space that you're coming from is actually going to bring in the opposite.
Right. So what would you say the difference is between natural positivity and belief in what you want to manifest compared to toxic positivity or too much positivity?
Well, I think it's clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're clear,
Yeah.
then I don't think that positive thinking is necessary. It's just something that happens.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is a
That's
great,
really
yeah,
interesting.
that's a great line too. You need to
Yeah,
put that in a
I like
quote.
that.
You need to put that in a quote. That's excellent. Do you think people even understand what the term holistic healing means?
I don't know, but I can talk about it in the sense that it considers you as a whole. So you're not a separate being. Like, even though our shoulders and our toes seem to be a long way apart, they're actually connected. And
Right.
your mental body is not separate of your physical, nor is your emotional body separate of you, nor is your environment. So holistic really takes you and your whole story and your whole life and all of your experiences and your hereditary and the cells and the physiology into consideration. So I know it's spelled with an H, but it really should be a W. So it's whole in every sense.
The One of the things that we found, and for everybody out there to understand sort of everything that we do, we have a magazine. Monica is one of our columnists in the magazine, and we do anthology books. And Monica, you're also in one of our books, one of our co-authors. And everything that we do is to talk about the mind, body, spirit, like to break it down into individual categories, either mental, physical, spiritual wellness, overall, like you were talking about, holistically.
But if you actually want to get some work done, if you
Mm-hmm.
actually want to start shifting your life and noticing, a change in your health and wellness, then you would need to seek out a practitioner who
Mhm.
can basically be your flashlight in those dark times that you're having,
Right.
or through that pain and discomfort. Uh, what I've come to notice is that pain and discomfort in most people's minds is something that's bad. And they don't
Right.
want to feel it, and they kind of want to avoid it, and at all costs, right? I just want to feel good all of the time. I'm here to tell you that pain is a wonderful, it's not wonderful, it feels like it
Okay.
hurts, and but it's a wonderful signal. Like, imagine if your body didn't give you the signal that something was up and that you couldn't feel pain. So you would cut your arm and then you would bleed out, or your arm, like your leg would break and you would fall flat on the floor.
Right.
You know, it's that marker that tells us, like, hold on, that's our signal. Like, hold on, something in my life or something in my body needs tending to.
Mhm.
It needs tending. I need tending.
Right.
So am I going to force through and ignore this signal that my body is giving me? It could be a manifestation of repressed emotions. That's
Right.
called body armoring, where you literally start to feel the physical manifestation of stored emotions, and the
Wow.
pain is very real.
Mhm.
Or maybe you've been ignoring going to see your doctor for some time and your back goes out and it puts you out on the couch and you really can't move. And
Right.
that's your body's way of saying, well, you've been forcing yourself. Or maybe you're stuck in your thoughts and you actually think you are what you think. You
True.
are what you think. And that's when you would go to find a practitioner
Mhm.
that would support you through this really tender moments that you're having.
Right, right. Like working with a practitioner who can actually walk you through the causes of your symptoms, right?
Right. And so the way that I work is not through the symptoms are from a root. And so the way that I work as a practitioner is I find the root regardless of source.
That's interesting.
So
So,
once the root is tended to, that, you tend to the root of the problem,
mhm.
then the symptoms naturally fade or eventually go away.
Wow. So okay, self-care. I guess that leads us right into that, right? What does that mean to you? Like, what would you tell somebody if was that would need self-care or that you think would need to become more attuned with themselves? What would you say to them? How would you get them on that journey?
Well, I don't think it matters really what you do. It all comes back to the space that you're coming from. So if you're putting yourself first in a healthy way, not narcissistically or self-absorbed,
Mhm.
I'm talking about, well, I'm absolutely exhausted. I've had a full day, and let's say the kids are asking me for one more snack, and I've just sat down on the couch, then
Mhm.
self-care would be saying no, like, guys, the kitchen's right there, go and help yourself.
Right.
So it's not so much about what you do, it's the space from which you do it. And
Okay.
so once you love yourself, or you begin to love yourself, or even start, I guess that's even big on itself, right? But I
Right.
mean, to start to pay attention to yourself, then your intuition will guide you to the practitioner. Like, the practitioner will just show up. It's like when the student is ready, the master shows up. So when
That's
you're actually ready to take care of yourself, it doesn't really matter. Taking a bath can be self-care, lying on the couch, watching TV, ordering pizza, getting a session, going for a massage, taking a walk, getting your hair done, washing your face.
right.
And guess real self-care is when your life becomes a ritual. And then you live from that space that my life is a ritual. It doesn't really matter what I do. There's no goal behind what I'm doing. I'm doing it for the sake of doing it. I do it because I love myself.
Wow.
What do you think that women have a hard time with the concept of self-care?
I think
Mm.
everyone has
And
a I've raised 3 boys, so I think everyone has. I think men and women alike have a problem with, yeah, we get fed a lot of baloney and
Right.
we believe it. And so that's the hand-me-down mind, the
Right.
hand-me-down recipes. And there's no one to blame because we get it from our parents get it from our grandparents, and so down, and so forth, down to the time we were an amoeba. All of these recipes and all of these ideas, what makes us a good person. And one of them is, well, I put myself last. I ignore my needs, or I ignore myself. But when the airplane's going down, what's the first thing the flight attendants tell you is put that air mask on yourself, and then you can tend to everyone.
Right. That is, I think, a hard concept for a lot of people, and they have to learn that concept that it's not selfish and it's not self-absorbed to think in that manner. And you said something really good just a minute ago, and you were saying that it can be something as small as like washing your face or taking a bath. Um, you don't think that that's like such a big healing thing, but it can be
Mm-hmm.
the start of some serious healing, just to do something even as simple as that, or just say no, say no, not
True.
today. No, thank you. I need to rest, or I need to take a break, or I can't do that.
Right.
And not
Yeah.
being, are not there for everyone, for everything. So I really like that you said that it can be something very small that can already start you on the path to healing, to living a better life.
Yeah, absolutely. They're so small. We think there have to be such huge things.
Right.
It's like, well, I feel like having a cup of tea. And then maybe there's a tendency to, oh, well, the dishes need to be done and that's more important. Then I would say stop and make yourself a cup of tea.
Right.
You know what? I love that. I have to ask you because I've seen it. Because as you know, we work with a lot of practitioners, so I want to understand the certified Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, say that 10 times fast, eh?
I know.
It's it's
What
a
is that?
Ho'opono.
Yeah. First of all, please pronounce it
Ho'oponopono.
I
correctly
know,
for us,
really.
and then tell us what it means.
So it's an ancient Hawaiian prayer of forgiveness and resolution.
Oh.
It's it's from Hawaii. I said Hawaiian, yeah. So Dr. Hugh Lin he said that by taking responsibility and forgiving yourself for what you see in the other,
Mhm.
you heal everything. And so he actually healed a full, oh God, what's the word? A hospital, but for mental illness. So like a psychiatric ward.
Oh, wow.
He closed it down. He just did
Wow.
Ho'oponopono and he closed it down.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible.
All
Yeah.
right. Just as we wrap up here, soul responsibility instructor. What
Yeah.
is that?
Oh my. Soul responsibility is one of the things that actually saved my life right after body talk.
Wow.
It came to me in my most desperate time. So I've already certified as a body talk practitioner.
What is that?
Right, right. So which one do you want me to do first?
Oh
Should
my
I do
goodness.
Start with body talk and then lead into
Okay,
soul
so
responsibility.
body talk is a integrative medicine. It's a consciousness-based medicine. So it takes you as a whole person. So body, mind, spirit, environment, everything into consideration. It takes you and your whole story into consideration, and it helps basically reestablish communication through all of your 1,000,000 parts so your body can do what it does best and heal itself. So stress reduction, anxiety, postnatal, post operative care. It helps with basically everything, any condition you have under the sun, it can tend to it.
Wow.
So just really quickly, like all of your cells are in communication. So your liver cells are talking to your hair cells, your hair to your nail, vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And all of your systems need to be in communication, but life and stress happen and it knocks the wavelengths off. Like the communication isn't so clear and they don't really communicate so well. And this is where dysfunction and disease comes in, is through poor communication intercellularly.
Wow.
And so by reestablishing communication through your cells, you're basically rejuvenating yourself back into full health potential.
That's incredible.
Wow. Okay, so now leads us to the other one, the soul
That
responsibility.
leads us into, which leads us into soul responsibility. So I was already a practitioner at this point, but something felt off. Like there was something amiss. So I used to have really bad psoriasis on my hands, so much so that I knew when the winter was coming, my skin would start to spontaneously bleed in August, and I knew how bad the winter was going, depending on how bad my hands were bleeding.
Wow.
So, my mentor and teacher, Terry Ann Nikitas, who is the founder of Soul Responsibility, said, take responsibility for everything you see in your life, radical self-responsibility, or radical responsibility, soul responsibility class. So I had no idea what I was signing up for, but I knew that I needed it. And slowly, by looking at the things that I didn't want to look at, by facing myself honestly, I was able to put my life back together. I was able to be the master of my own ship, basically command my life in a healthy way and take practical action for myself and help myself without blaming or victimizing myself or anyone around me. And it started to shift. My hands started to heal, and they healed so much eventually that psoriasis has never returned. And my hands don't even have the scars of them. You would never know that I even had it.
Wow. So, okay, well, obviously, you know a lot. You're Reiki master as well. How do you put this all together? How do you like? Do you do like all of it for everyone, or is it tailored to what the needs are um,
Well, each,
per individual
yeah.
person?
Well, each individual person will benefit from all of the tools on my belt. So even though if someone's coming in for a body talk treatment, if any of the other tools that are needed, they come up, then I use them. So it's personally, every session that you receive is personally tailored to you. And one session is very different from the other. So you're getting individual treatment each time you come to see me. It's not like a nutrition plan where the nutritionist would say something like, eat for these 3 weeks, this is what you're going to eat. And then the next 3 weeks, this is what you're going to do. I have no idea what the sessions bring each time. It's like a little adventure.
Wow. Well, that you know what that this has been just an amazing conversation, and I finally know what the whole
Right.
is. So that's incredible. Take a moment now and just let everybody know how they can get in touch with you. What is the best way to get in touch with you? Your website, and any last words that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, before I sign off and give you my contact information, I think that if anything pulls at you, to through this conversation, or even if you're listening to another practitioner that you resonate with, and it's a curiosity coming up, then I would encourage you to take that step for yourself and call them or contact them and get that session for yourself. You have no idea what wonderful things can come of it for you. So if you have an inkling, then please get in touch with whoever piques your interest, so to speak, or pulls at those gut, right? The gut feeling like, oh, I want to contact this person, and don't put it off. The best way to reach me, I guess, would be by email, or if you prefer phone, and my website, I can give all three pieces of information.
Absolutely.
So my office line is 343-558-1231. And you can reach me also at my website, and you can book directly from there. And if nothing suits you from the times that you see, please email me or please contact me, and I'd be happy to work something out. But my website is www.mmarzuk. So I'm going to spell that MARCZUK.com. And my email is monikamarczuk.com. And Monika is spelled with a K. So MONIKA, Marczuk, MARCZUK @gmail.com. That's the way you can reach me.
That's perfect.